Glory be to God. Welcome to D Weaver Art here on YouTube, the channel for art lovers who love realistic and impressionistic style portrait. Can we have a discussion? Can we talk about art today? I have in the background a picture of P. Mansfield III, and I did a video and I just released it about himself, but mainly also about me doing a painting of him. Portrait Spotlight number 7, actually episode 7 I did with him. I enjoyed speaking with him. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But today, once again, can I ask this question? Can we have an art discussion? Write down your comments below. Let me know what you think about the latest Spotlight, Portrait Spotlight number 7, episode 7, featuring P. Mansfield III. Now, I want to talk about this painting behind me and want to just let you in on the fact what even the painting itself says a lot about me as an artist. And that's what I really want to really open up to you about. First of all, for you guys who don't know who I am D Weaver. I am an artist. I've been an artist since I was 5. Yes, I've been an artist since I was 5. I've been enamored and delighted to create. I remember my first time getting a hold of paint when I was in the kindergarten. We had watercolors. I remember the smell of glue and loved that time of creativity. I enjoyed that just as much as going outside, and playing on the playground. And when it rained, we didn't go outside. We created. And that was a great time for me. I remember growing up when I was 5 years old, I had a little spot my parents made for me where there's like a little creative area in the home that I grew up in. And I would just remember drawing from my imagination and drawing trucks. I just had a fascination for 18-wheelers and the diesel type engines with the trailers that hook up to it. But I don't know what it was. I just was fascinated and I just drew them. I just took the basic shapes and created the tires and the truck and the trailer. And, I know when you're young and you're an adult, you say, oh, baby, that looks so good and stuff. But I really believe that my stuff is really good. I had a lot of pride in my artwork. And so I just kept staying with it all the way up to, from 5 all the way up to high school. I continued to draw art. I did a lot of drawing back then until I got to college. I went to school for art. And, but in high school, I had a teacher named Ronnie Reiner. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2013. But prior to his passing, he really believed in me. He did his best to encourage me and teach me all he could about realistic style type art. And I was really blessed to know him. And really, he even one time I asked him, show me your process in doing a portrait drawing. And he sat down and drew a portrait of a woman from just strictly out of his imagination. I was really impressed by that. And I went on and went to college. And when I got to college, I was among other artists, aspiring artists that wanted to make a career in art. And it was very enlightening, even though the school that I went to would not per se be known for its art. But the fact that I was very blessed and grateful to be able to go to a college to cultivate the skills and the gifting that I had for it. And for that, I'm grateful for. So later on, I think there was a time from like 2000, not that far back, not that late, but all the way back, probably since 2000 and not 2000, I keep saying 2000, but 1996 or 97, from that point all the way up to probably 2000, I would just say 2011. From that span of time, 97 to 2011, I did no art. I did not pick up a brush. I didn't pick up a pencil. I just went completely cold turkey art. It's like, and a lot was going on in my life. But I met a guy. I was working at a job. What's ironic about this, I was at my job and I was painting parts, literally painting parts. And this guy came in on my paint deck and found out that he was a preacher, but yet he did artwork. And I was really scratching my head on that. What, you're a preacher and you do artwork? That's something unique. Yeah, he said, I do artwork. And then he encouraged me to get back to doing my artwork. And so from 2011 to this day, I've been creating non-stop. And when I say non-stop, there was every month I at least created some piece of artwork once a month at the minimum. Most of the time it would be more than that. But I've been really going at it pretty strong with it and very passionate about what I do. I just wanted to share that with you guys, just to let you know who I am and that I enjoy creating art. I love to paint and I love to draw. Drawing is the foundation for painting. I mean, it's understanding values, understanding form, understanding the three-dimensional design of a thing. When you see it out of your eyes, you have to be able to interpret what you're seeing. And there's principles and techniques and how to make it come off illustrating, or what would you call, as an illusion to the viewer, that wow, that gives it a sense of depth and perspective on the work itself. So art discussion, what is art discussion? Well, it's something I had started on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and I had done a couple of them before, and I really had it in the back of my mind, well, you know, I may do this after I had started my YouTube channel back in 2015. A few years after that, I was doing art discussions, and I said to myself, you know, this would be a pretty good thing to do on my YouTube channel. Well, back then I had the thought, but I said, well, I'm gonna give it some time. Let's just see how, kind of experimenting on my channel as to what I need to be doing, what I could do to share with my audience. And now I've come into the place now where I want to give value back to my listeners, particularly those who have an interest in art and even buying pieces of my work, and want you guys to kind of get to know me to some extent. And so there are moments and there are days that I am tired, and you probably can see it in my eyes, but yet I will still create these videos because, first of all, I love talking about my art. I love creating the art. But at the end of the day, I'm a human being just like you guys out there, and I want to provide value back in return. And so I finally decided, you know what, let's go on launch a series called Art Discussion, where I take the time out to break down the reason why I painted the picture, what the process that was involved, the instruments that I use, just really open up to you about the background of the art itself and what I was doing, what the world was I thinking when I put those colors down, why did I use those colors, and so you guys can get connected and understand the story behind the art and me as an artist. So that's the purpose of this new series, which will be, this is episode 2. I've already done episode 1. This will be episode 2 that you're watching now. And I will create a playlist of these episodes, and I want to stay connected with you guys. I want to provide you who I am as an artist and why I do what I do. And so my purpose is to inspire. My purpose is to let you know that if you willing and you desire to do what I do, you can do the same thing. And if you're already an artist out there, young artists or older artists, don't matter what your age is, I hope that my channel will provide a sense of peace to you, a sense of encouragement, a sense of inspiration to you, even a sense of direction to some extent, or what you could possibly do with your life. And so that's why I wanted to do this. And so I just thank you for watching. Thank you for viewing. So this picture behind me is a picture of Pete Key, Mansfield III. I just finished a video of a portrait spotlight, episode number 7. He happened to be the featured person in portrait spotlight. Now, portrait spotlight, for you guys who may be new to my channel watching this, portrait spotlight is it's actually a series that I started last year, where I take and interview individuals who are unique, who in some way or another has a unique story or that inspires me as an artist. Also give them an opportunity on whatever they're trying to do with their life to either share, to encourage you, to comfort you, or inspire you in some way to do something with your life, making an impact on the world that you're in. And so that's the whole purpose of it. And by me doing this, I wanted to give back to the person who took time out of their life to have this interview. And I blessed them with the painting. Yes, I know. I blessed them with the painting. And I'm grateful for all the people who have done all these portrait spotlights with me on last year, and even now Mansfield III, or Pete Key, he has done one with me, and I'm grateful to be able to drop that down as of yesterday or the day before, prior to this recording. So I just wanted to share with you about this painting. So Mansfield Key, in case if you don't know who he is an entrepreneur, an author, a father, and he is also a child of God. Most of all, he is a disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ. He's a believer in Christ. He's a public speaker, and so he's a creative himself, digital creator. He has books. He's created a couple of books, and so very, very awesome person, very creative person. I wanted to share him with you guys and give me the opportunity to also showcase my ability to capture his likenesses in my own way. Not every artist is the same. I know you guys may have a particular style or a particular interest in certain types of art. I've worked with acrylics, and so this right here, the background, that's interesting about the background, but let's talk about the process. So the process, what I was thinking to do, and a lot of times when I do my paintings, I don't always approach, I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but I'm just being real. As an artist, my system is kind of evolving because I'm kind of open to change to some extent. And just like this painting is a little bit different than what I normally would do, I really put myself in a challenging way to do it a lot different approach than what I normally would do. So this technique that I'm going to share with you was a build and somewhat destroy technique to actually loosen myself up and free myself up, and then to build and destroy, but then also bring back the realism from a chaotic, I would say beautiful chaotic. I don't know how is it possible to have something chaotic but yet be beautiful. I don't know, but I don't know why I said that, but that just came out of my mouth, did it not? I believe you heard what I said. Yes, I actually wanted to make the painting realistic, and then I said to myself, okay, I want to change it up here. Why don't I slap a little paint on it? But instead of using a brush, I used a palette knife. So if you watch the video, go back and watch the video if you haven't seen it. I'm in the video, they're showing you the process where I take my palette knife and I'm just slapping paint down in random places with the intention to make it loose and to create a vibration, color vibration. Try not to get technical, but it just came out of my mouth. You're probably wondering, D, What do you mean by color vibration? Well, it's actually a technique when it comes to impressionistic style paintings, where if you look at Monet and Renoir and all the Mary Cassatt, all the different impressionistic painters back in the late 1800s, they will use a technique where they use the same colors within the value scale. So if you squint your eyes, and here it is, the terminology is coming out. I'm trying to not make it so term, but a lot of you guys are artists out there and you've studied, you know what these terms are. But for the new person that's watching this video, please give me a moment to break down some of these terms. So value is the color, the lightness and darkness of a color, okay? Values. So not gonna get all, I believe I may have a video where I talk about values. If not, I'm gonna have to produce one, because values are very important if you're going to give a realistic style of type art. You got to understand planes and surfaces. Some surfaces have a curvature to them, round off. Some surfaces have where it abruptly breaks off like a plane, just like a sharp edge, depending on the light and so forth. Understanding light and shadow, and then how light affects the values of the color. So that's what I mean by that. And so I wanted to, at the beginning, I started it out with a charcoal drawing on, actually not even a charcoal drawing. I actually toned the canvas with gray. I wanted to start it off with gray. And then after it dried out, I went over it with charcoal. I went over the painting, or what we would call it in art is called a underground or underpainting or color ground. Is where you take out the white. The white can be very intimidating if you kind of don't, you want to, the way I see an underpainting, it gives you a chance to be loose and free yourself up with the brush. You can kind of just play around, make some brush marks, some brush work. Do just a lot of, just put brush marks down. It's just a stage in the very first step and stage where you just putting color or paint down, okay? And so you're applying it, and you're loading the brush up with paint, and you're applying it to the canvas. This is not a time where you're creating anything. You're just putting down random brush marks and just covering the canvas with color that you want to show probably through or underneath the main after it's finished, which gives it a sense of unity, and also, what would you call it? There's a term for the lack of words, but give it a sense of appeal to the eyes. Make it very interesting. But at the beginning, if you're painting on the white, listen, you can paint on white, but to me, it makes it flat. It doesn't make it harmony, gives it, ties the colors together. When you have one simple color underneath and you pull and put down the different markings that you need as a foundation to put on over it with color, that's pretty much me trying to explain what an underpainting is. And that's pretty much what I did here. So you got the color vibration in the background, which is palette knife. And after I put the palette knife on, if you watch the video, I came over with the rest of it. After I did that, tore it all up, just destroyed the realism that was on top of it. I put color down with the palette knife. I came over then with brush markings to pull it back out. Rest of it was all done in brush. But at the end, I just, put the brush back over in the background. But all this pretty much is done with brush. Everything you see here is done with brush. Even these marking here are done with brush. But at the what would you call it? During its process, initial process, I just took the paint and put it on palette knife and just scraped it on it. Just being real wild and loose with it. Just having fun with it. So when I did that, I lost the realism, and it challenged me. Okay, now I gotta resurrect or build or pull out what I could see, what I covered up. And that right there, when I made this painting, was a challenge. And I liked it. I didn't like the discomfort, but it stretched me to the point where now I know that I could be free in my expression. I could put it down. And if I get it wrong, I can correct it. Even, yes, you did hear that. You art lovers out there who love to paint. You art lovers out there who don't understand what I'm about to say. Just stay with me. Yes, it caused me to get more free. And that was the whole purpose. That was my intention, to get free and loosen up. I really, every time I do a piece of art, I really struggle with tightness. I don't want to be tight. That's not what I want. I want my edges to be more loose. And even in this, not even gonna point it out. I'm gonna keep it to myself. But if you know and understand about edges, even in this, if I could go back, and I probably could, but I won't. I'm gonna leave it like it is. But looking into the next painting I do, I'm gonna have to soften my edges quite a bit. Even in the actual skin, there's, believe it or not, I on purposely added green. Yes, you heard me correctly. I added green to the skin of Pete Key when I was painting him. And when I did that, it made me think of the African colors, because I saw red in the skin. I saw, of course, there's areas where it's really dark black. I see where the eyelashes and the eye is dark brown. Okay, get that. But it makes you, and then the hair looks black, but it's not all black. I got grays in there. I wanted to give it a sense of volume and three-dimensionality, because if you put one color down, it flattens the actual subject. And when it flattens it out, it makes it cartoonish. And so that was not my intention. I wanted to put color over top of color, wet into wet technique. Yes, you heard that. For you guys who work with oils, acrylics, you can do wet into wet. And so one thing I did too, at the beginning, I sprayed the back of my canvas, making it moist before I even added color or put down the underpainting, meaning it's balanced. You want to have some tension in your composition, okay? Your composition is the arrangement of the design of elements in the actual picture plane or the canvas or paper that you're doing. There's a intentionality to make it very appealing to the viewer. As an artist, you want to bring out what you feel, and you want to release your interpretation of the subject, communicate to the viewer your intentions from your perspective of what you were feeling and what you see in that subject. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to get loose. I wanted to express my brush marks. Because he is a very energetic, awesome person. So that's what I wanted, very loose. Gets down in here. You see the broken color technique. Even in his skin, you have green, you have light reds, dark reds, browns, the highlights, all this. And then you get down in here, it's cool. So if you really look at it, it's cool down here. Just cool colors down in here. A few warm colors, notes of warm, broken color in this area. But up in the background, mainly, you can see where it just balances out right here. And then you got three offsets it, but this is right in the middle. And you got kind of like a balance here. It's not like this. It ain't like this is, and if you think about it, it's really like boom, boom, boom. And so you got the triangle here going on. So you see repetition. So you got a little bit slight angle here, slight angle here, but even this. So you see a series of triangles, slight triangles. So you got this in here, this in here going on, this in here, this in here. And that's pretty much the composition of it. One of the characteristics of an impressionist style type art, whether it's still life, whether it is a landscape, whether it's a portrait painting in this case, is brushstrokes. Yes, brushstrokes is essential. Without the brushstroke, it's not impressionistic. And you can still make it impressionistic to some extent, very limited, but you can give a vibe of, or an intention of impressionism by the brushstroke. In fact, that it being loose edges, soft edges, or hard edges, the whole intention is the capture of when let's put it this way. When Impressionism was first started, it was about capturing the light. Even in its light, ultraviolet rays have colors in it. So the artist would try to capture the light and interpret what he was seeing or she was seeing back in the 1800s, late from the 1850s all the way into early 1900s. Basically, all of that time frame, the Impressionists were doing that. They went outdoors to paint in plein air, in open air. And so I've looked at their art, very captivated by the interpretation of what it wasn't so much the artwork was trying to be extremely realistic. You knew what you was looking at. But in some places, when you look at it up close, it was very abstract. Just simple brush marks that were placed onto the canvas with purpose, not just randomness. It may have started out like that, but at the end, it's purposely thought out. It's intentional. Every brush stroke was intentional when put, and it's the same that holds true today for impressionistic style type art. And so I wanted to, with purpose, put down those brush marks where they needed to be. And so true, pure impressionism is literally what it is. It's an impression of the subject, whether it be landscape, still life, or for this moment, portraits. So that's what I did. And in somewhat it's loose. And you could go into varying degrees of depending on the types of brush marks you put down. There are some artists, and in some of the artists back in the Impressionist time, they would do these little bitty brush marks. But I wanted to put one stroke down, then leave it alone, then put another stroke. Now you build up. You put but then you begin to put down your brush strokes to give it a sense of expression and also depth, understanding value and understanding drawing, just simple skills of drawing. And then you could do all kind of stuff from there. So I hope this video has been a blessing to you. I hope you've been inspired to create. And remember, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Please subscribe. Special shout out to Autumn, Salem, and Charlotte. So I just want to thank you for your help and you subscribing to the D Weaver Art channel. Thank you so much. And just thank all the rest of you guys who are now my subscribers to my channel. I appreciate you watching my videos. Please, I encourage you, leave a message below. Let me know what you think about the video. And until then, pick up a brush, create, pick up a pencil, do some artwork. God bless you, and see you next time.